of the government. This bill is about the values of the Crib Point CFA, the Hastings CFA, the Kernot CFA, the Lang Lang CFA, the Murdoch CFA, and so many others throughout the seat of Flinders and throughout the state of Victoria and their rural fire service counterparts throughout each state and territory of Australia. It's about a very simple proposition, and that is that when the world thinks of Australians, they identify our lifesavers and our CFA volunteers, our emergency service volunteers, as the soul and the essence and the vision and the sense of what it is to be Australian. Against that background, this government made a pledge during the course of the last election that the first bill we would introduce would be the Fair Work Amendment Respect for Emergency Services Volunteer Bill of 2016. And that is what we have done. It honours our commitment to doing all we can to protect Australia's emergency services from a hostile union takeover. And this is something that is fundamental to our communities, to our culture, to our sense of who we are, and it is fundamental to our safety and to our values. The threat to our communities is clear and present. It comes in the form of the agreement which has been rubber-stamped by the Andrews Victorian Labor government and which has been green-lighted by the Shorten federal Labor opposition. So what we see here is a clear and present danger, and it's a danger not on the basis of what we say, but of those that are closest to the CFA, who were its defenders and protectors, who have understood more closely than anybody else what it is to be a volunteer and why that matters. Let's look to who has sacrificed their career to protect the volunteers. The Victorian Labor Minister, Jane Garrett, National Vice President of the Labor Party, resigned rather than rubber-stamp this CFA takeover by the unions. That is the strength of concern which the Victorian Emergency Services Minister had, which the National Vice President of the ALP had, and all credit to Jane Garrett for sacrificing her career so as not to be caught as a rubber stamp in the attack on volunteers' rights and freedoms and standing and the safety of our communities. The CFA Chief Executive Officer, Lucinda Nolan, what was it that she said in relation to her own resignation? And she said before a parliamentary inquiry only a few days ago in Victoria, the agreement was not going to make the organisation a better place. It is destructive and divisive. I could not stay and oversee the destruction of the CFA. I think this has the potential to negatively impact the organisation, community safety, our volunteers and our volunteer contribution. Community safety was at threat. That could not be a stronger statement from the very person entrusted with the future of the CFA. Let me move even further. We go from there to the CFA board. The CFA board was sacked unceremoniously by the Victorian Labor government. And what have they stated on the 6th of June of 2016? We have serious concerns. Many of these proposed clauses in the EBA are unlawful, and we have legal advice that indicates the CFA would be in breach of its statutory obligations. Legal advice. Many of these clauses have no place in modern-day workplaces and are out of step with today's society. They went on to say the proposed agreement undermines volunteers, our culture, allows the union operational and management control of the CFA, and are discriminatory. So those are fundamental concerns from the people who know the EBA, the CFA and the union most closely. But then, of course, the Chief Fire Officer, Joe Buffone, resigned and he resigned because he did not believe, with his statutory responsibilities for community safety, for overseeing fire operations and for other activities, that he could stay and justifiably discharge those duties. So against that background, we bring in this bill, which brings in fundamental protections for volunteers. It will protect in perpetuity the CFA volunteers of Crib Point and Kernot and so many other communities around the country. I commend the Fair Work Amendment, Respect for Emergency Services Volunteer Bill of 2016 to the House, and I move again that this bill be now read a third time.
The question is that